Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys. Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to another live match preview. This time we are looking at the second leg tie between Liverpool and Inter Milan. Delighted to be joined by Inter Milan fan. We're trying to get him over to the Liverpool side. We haven't been successful yet, but we're still trying. Uncle Sharma, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
Thank you for having me on. Second cap, obviously first cap wasn't great, but I did predict that we were going to lose, so all good. But thank you for having me on again, man.
No, absolute pleasure, guys. As always, what do we promote here? We promote inclusivity and also helping other channels as well. Sharma's taking time out of his day, his evening, to come and give you guys some content and help us out. So please make sure you reciprocate. Click the link in the YouTube title. It will take you over to his channel. Subscribe, like his videos. Let's get his numbers up and let's thank him for the support he's given us. So, Shams, you mentioned the last game where we ran out 2-0 winners. And it probably flattered us a little bit, the 2-0 win, even though I don't think it was a wild result. What are your feelings about the game, sort of in hindsight?
Yeah, I think, as I said, it's pretty much how I predicted it. Apart from that, we didn't score a goal. I think we outplayed you in some parts of the game. Like I think even Fabinho today in the press conference said Inter were better than us in the first half. Hakan hit the crossbar. We had other chances that were actually in the end we didn't have a shot on target, which is true. But I think we got into like really good positions. But in the end, you guys just have better quality. Your bench, you brought on 120, 130 million worth of talent off the bench. And we brought on, Gagliardini, Alexis Sanchez, just the difference in what you brought on and what we brought on was just night and day, and it made a difference in the end. Firmino scored, one of the substitutes, and yeah, I think in the end you did. I'm not saying that you guys didn't deserve the win at all, but I just I think the score did flatter you a little bit. I think we could have got a little bit more out of that game. What did you make of Inter? Like, were you impressed by Inter? Let me ask you.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was. I don't want to come across as disrespectful, but you gave us a tougher game than I thought you would. I knew it wouldn't be an easy game.
Yeah.
But it was way, like, for me, that was one of the toughest games, in my opinion, we've had this season. So I was over the moon to come away with that, not just with a win, but with a 2-0 win. 1-0 for me, the balance is still in the balance. The tie is still in the balance. At 2-0 is very much in our favor. Like, not to say you can't turn it around. That would be naive of me to think like that. But if you do turn it around, it'd be a shock now, as opposed to if it was a 1-0 win. You're way more attacking than I thought you'd have been. You were way more aggressive, and your tempo was a lot faster than I predicted as well. So for me, it was more of an eye-opener as to not just Inter, but Italian football. And again, Italian football for me gets hit with this stigma of being ultra defensive, ultra slow. That for me needs to stop now. And that game kind of was like, look, it has to stop now, because if I'm not mistaken, you guys are one of the highest goal scoring leagues. You play entertaining football. You play high-line football as well, which a lot of people don't think. So for me, it was a really good game to watch. When I watched it back, in the moment, it was too emotional to enjoy the game because it felt like we were going to concede. But no, I have a lot of respect for Inter, and I see tomorrow being a tough guy as well. Tough game as well. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we're going to go out for it. I think it's going to be the strongest lineup for Inter for sure. And our president actually is coming, Steven Zhang. He's going to be watching, so that shows that they are going to try the best. And I think we saw like a lot of the things we talked about in the pre-match, like pointed out, like Perisic versus Trent, that ended up being a big battle in the game. That I think in the end, Perisic got the better of him, and even got shouted at by Van Dijk, didn't he? Trent a couple of times. So yeah, in the end, bro, it's like I watched your game against West Ham as well at the weekend. It's just, I think, the that lack of killer instinct from Inter just punished us. You know, Dzeko, Lautaro, that was my fear that they wouldn't be able to take their chances, and they didn't in the end. Like, and obviously the pace just isn't there. There was a couple of moments where Dzeko was in behind, and
Yeah.
Van Dijk was just like, you know, what are you doing, bro? Be serious.
It's true. And a killer instinct is a thing that kind of separates the good teams from the great teams. And you're right, West Ham didn't have that killer instinct on Saturday. I think it's been blown out of proportion, not by you, by the way, but blown out of proportion that we were lucky to win against West Ham. On the balance of the game, we more than deserved to win.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of lack of killer instinct, you didn't lack any killer instinct at the weekend. You won your game 5-0. As you told me before we came on air, it was against a team you were expected to win against. But look, 5-0 in the top league against anyone is still a very good result. Do you think, one, you'll be able to carry that form into this game? And two, who would be in your starting 11 for tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope so. Because literally, since we played you guys, I said to you before we came on, we've been messed up since we played you guys. Because after including the game against you, we were goalless for four games, which is like we haven't seen that. Not even like in the last couple of seasons. Like, I don't even remember in the last decade, even in the worst Inter teams, we've been through a banter era. So we've been through a really bad patch of form. And we are still the top scorers in Italy, but you know, it was funny that we couldn't score to save our lives. But yeah, hopefully 5-0. It was the worst team in Italy, like the team that they're definitely going to get relegated, Salernitana. But still, you know, Lautaro went through a form of a patch. He hasn't scored an open play goal since December.
Wow.
So he scored a hat trick at the weekend. So hopefully that means that Lautaro is backfiring. Dzeko scored 2 goals. He hasn't scored for a while. So hopefully the confidence is back in the team now, and hopefully we take it to Anfield.
Fair dues. Who do you expect to start for you guys tomorrow?
I think pretty much the exact same lineup as we had against you guys the first time around, because obviously Barella's still out. I think Vidal. Actually, I want your thoughts on Vidal afterwards. When you guys, what do you make of Vidal? But yeah, Vidal put in a shift, so I think he's going to be back in the starting lineup and up front. Even though I don't want it again, I just don't think this Lautaro Dzeko partnership works. I think it's going to be them. However, this time around, we have Joaquin Correa to come off the bench. He's back fit. He's probably our quickest striker. He's a dribbler. He takes more risks than all of our other strikers. So he's going to be a threat off the bench. And Robin Gosens is back fit again, the guy we signed off Atalanta, who's probably the best, was the best left wing back in Italy. So he's going to be a threat off the bench as well. So we've got more options off the bench this time.
Fair dues. Vidal, he's a player that if he was a Liverpool player, I'd probably love. He falls into that category of like a Rudiger type of player. Super aggressive, very good footballer, super aggressive. And he's one that kind of gets the opposition crowd and the opposition players rattled. So as a player, I respect him. I respect his career. But because we're going into battle against him, I hate him right now because I know what he's like. I know he's going to leave one on a couple of midfielders to try and ruffle their feathers, and he's going to be the one getting in and around our midfield to try and break play up. I rate him, but yeah, he peed me off when we played against him because I was just like, how is he not getting a yellow card for a start? But how is he still doing this at his age and getting away with it? So I respect it. Drift, what do you think of Vidal?
Yeah, I've loved Vidal his whole career, but I agree with you. He's the type of, he does that shithousery type of football where, you know, Diego Costa. There's a few players like that anyway. If they're on your side, you love them, and if you're playing against them, you hate them. You know what I mean? That type of player.
Yeah, agreed. So for us then, Drift, who would you? Again, I'm not going to try and second guess Klopp's starting 11, but who would you pick tomorrow to start for Liverpool in the game against Inter Milan?
A 2-0 lead can't be taken lightly, in my opinion, just to make sure that you knock all the confidence out of Inter. Because if they get an early goal or they get the first goal, all of a sudden the balance of the game changes. I know there's no away goals now, so you don't have to be as worried. But you know, if the opposition gets ahead of steam, you're still gonna be like, oh, here we go. And Inter Milan obviously do have the talent. I would probably go as strong as we can for at least the first 65, 70 minutes to make sure the game is won. And then maybe bring in a few of the players to rest some of the big boys if we've extended the lead or we have a comfortable enough lead to see it out with maybe 15 or 20 minutes left. So I would go original back five, with Matip back in if he's well. If he's not, then it has to be Ibu, obviously, because he's the informed one. But if Matip is over his illness, then I'll put Matip back in. And then in midfield, I'm going the strongest we can in terms of fitness and form. So I'm going Naby, Hendo, and Flacco again. And then I'm sticking with that new front three that's really been working. Mane's got 4 goals in 3 games, I think, or 4 goals in 4 games with an assist. Salah's obviously Mo's Mo, and Diaz is Diaz. And Diaz is causing everybody all kind of problems. And then because there's 5 subs in the Champions League, as I said, you get to the 60th or the 70th minute and you've got a comfortable enough lead. Then you look for your Jota, who's not even a downgrade. It's just you can rest one of the front 3. Maybe a Minamino and an Origi, so you can rest one of the other front 3. And then I'm bringing on, say, a Milner for a Naby, shore things up a bit in the midfield. And do you know what I mean? Try and see the game out. And then if you really have an opportunity, an Elliott or a Jones or somebody like that for a little ball retention while you're trying to manage out the game. But let's try and get a goal or 2, or at least keep it at 2-0. And, at least get through an hour where we've still got the 2-0 lead.
Fair enough. Who have you got then? Who's starting for you?
Yeah, everyone I just said.
Okay, sorry. So I think I might have frozen then. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you now, yeah. Shams, could you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, I could hear you fine.
Yeah. Okay, so can you run through it for me? Sorry. Mine plays silly buggers a little bit, sorry.
Yeah, Ali, Trent, Matip if he's not ill, and Konate if Matip is still ill. Van Dijk, Robbo, Flacco, Hendo, Keita, sticking with Mane in the middle, and going Diaz and Mo.
Cool. For me, I'd go Ali in goal. I'd go Trent right back. So here's where I'll probably ruffle a few feathers. I'd actually go Gomez at centre back next to Virgil. I think Konate could do with a little rest, and I don't want to rush Matip back from his illness. Plus, I think it will give a nice little welcome to Gomez to have this game as well. And I think he played well against AC Milan in the group stages. Plus the fact of him not having to come up against a load of pace with Dzeko and Martinez. I think it would be a good game. Sorry, Shams.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
I would actually go Tsimikas at left back because I think Robbo's played quite a bit. So I think this is a game where I think we could rotate with Tsimikas. The midfield, I think I'd go with your midfield drift. I think that has a good amount of balance and control in there. But that's an area where I'd look to be making substitutions and the changes if we're comfortable in the game straight away. And then up top, I'd actually go Mane from the left, Jota through the middle, and Salah on the right. I'd look to have a weapon with Diaz on the bench. And I also think Jota could do with getting some goals back in his system as well. And I think this could be a game where he could get some chances to score goals. And I think Mane is still enough of a threat to give Inter's back line a problem from the left-hand side. So, yeah, that's what I'd go.
Fair enough.
Well, was Harvey Elliott starting the last match? Was that a surprise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. We rate him.
The San Siro swallowed him a little bit. He's only 18, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We rate him highly as a fan base. In fact, do you know what? It'd be interesting to get your take on Elliott. What do you think of him as a player? Like, do you rate him? Probably not going to rate him as highly as we do as a fan base. We can be quite territorial with our players, but how do you sort of see him? How do you rate him?
Yeah, no, he looked good. Like technically, I've watched him a few times. He looks like really, really good. Like all of this new young English generation that's coming out, they're all very techie ballers. But I'm not really sure what his what's his actual position is. I'm trying to figure him out. What is his actual what would you say is his actual position?
Probably a 10 in it, Drift.
Yeah, he's a really weird hybrid, Sharma, of he came through as a right winger, but he's not quick enough to be a right winger. He played number 10 a little bit for Blackburn, and even at Fulham in the academy, I've heard a few people say he was like a number 10 at Fulham in the youth. set up, and now he almost plays an 8 sometimes for us as well. He's like a bit of a hybrid. He can kind of play in a load of those kind of positions. So I think it would just be about him trying to figure out exactly what it is in the next few years, I guess.
Fair dues. So, Drift, I want to ask you, Curtis Jones, obviously the Norwich game, he was excellent. Came off with a precautionary, it wasn't an injury, but he's back now. Do you think he's got a chance of potentially starting this game?
Possibly. I think what we've learned as well from the group stages is with you getting money when you win these games on top of the TV revenue, really seems to be a motivation behind what we do in it. We went a full team in the 6th game in the group, and we'd already won the group 2 games ago. So I don't think Klopp will put a couple of younger players out.
No, we didn't go full strength against AC last game. Remember, Nat played and
well, it was like 80%.
Salah and Alisson started, which were the 2 main ones. We were like, no.
And Mane as well, didn't he?
I feel like Mane didn't start.
I think only Origi and Nat were the 2 who played Champions League games. You're like, okay, he's thrown him in. I think the majority of the time he goes stronger than we want him to. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he's going to probably do the same, trying to get the victory. So not just go through, but win the game to get the extra money you get for the win. And you know, fair play to UEFA. This is their motivation to make sure there's no dull games in it. You get money for the win, regardless if you need it or not, to keep the motivation there. But like, you know, if you want a little extra bit of money, make sure you win the game, in it. So, yeah, I don't know.
That is a good point as well. I didn't look at it like that. Maybe it's a good incentive from UEFA, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, if you got owners like us.
Pimp in Distress says, was with you in Spirit Cow and Terrace. Occurred to me, you're now like VVD. No one wants to take you on. They see you front up and cower, you know, walk alone.
Hey, bro. That Lautaro moment still annoys the hell out of me. He didn't even try to take him on, bro. Like, what are you doing?
What is your thoughts on
that a lot, bro? We've seen that a lot. They look up and they see Virgin, they're like, I forget that.
Oh, that aura, man. But this is why we love Lautaro, though. Like, this is the whole reason why we like Lautaro, is this fearlessness about him, you know, like this. He reminds you of like Tevez or like Aguero, like these kind of guys. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Is there anyone like Virgil in Syria who kind of has that aura about them that kind of is like, you try and avoid taking them on, you try and avoid being on their side of the pitch? Is there any defenders like that in Syria?
Koulibaly, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Is that because of his strength and his physicality, though, as opposed to his overall game, though?
No, Koulibaly is like a baller as well, like on the ball. But I think Van Dijk, I don't think anyone gets that level of aura to that level. I think like Alisson as well. Like when I was watching like the West Ham guys go 1v1, it just seemed like is that he's got that aura as well, where you just like panicking just because you see his Alisson in front of you.
Yeah,
he does a bit. Yeah, Ali does a bit. Yeah.
I think it's Serie A. That's the thing, in it. Like at the moment, like there's some really good players in Serie A, but it's like obviously the elite is probably not there. And I think Koulibaly, unfortunately for him, I think he kind of not wasted, but I think he could have played for someone better than Napoli. I think Skriniar's got a bit of that as well, but again, not to the same level of Van Dijk.
Yeah, Drift, you're a big fan of Koulibaly.
Yeah, but I agree wholeheartedly with Shams. I think 2 years too long he stayed in Napoli now, for my opinion, and he's dwindled out a bit. Maybe even his motivation started to go. Because no disrespect, but when you're playing for a club that will always be kind of mid to high table, never actually really win anything, it must be really hard, other than just loving football, to motivate yourself to go to that next level. And if you know your president's never going to let you leave, you just, what's the point?
Yeah.
P. Al says Ali, Trent, Gomez, Virgil, Costas, Fab, K. Curtis. Interesting. Taki, Divock, and Jota. I'll be honest, P. I don't see that lineup.
It looks like a Carabao Cup lineup.
I'll be very shocked if we go with that lineup. Ash says, I'm hearing a particular player signed a contract. Hush, hush, wink, wink. If true, I might have to start listening to Zabiri. about J Dub more. Yeah, we're gonna chop that up in the next show, guys. We will chop that up. But yeah, there's a lot of rumors coming out at the moment, so we'll see. Prediction time. Shams, you're our guest. We'll start with you. Liverpool versus Inter Milan. Bright lights at Anfield. No pressure. What are we saying, bro?
I quickly want to give a shout out to a couple of people that I see from my channel here, Indro and a couple of other guys. Thank you for coming through.
Bless.
Bro, it's hard to predict a win. Like last time I predicted a loss, which is hard to do, but I just struggle to see. I feel like we're gonna give it another good go. Like I feel like, I think a lot of fans are gonna be like, "Yo, this Inter team's all right," but again, I just think we're not gonna take our chances. I just don't see Lautaro and Dzeko being clinical enough to take the chances that we put on the plate for them. And I think like by the time, if we don't score in the first half, then we'll lose, because then like the more the match goes on, I think Inzaghi will start to think about the Serie A and start to prioritize and probably start taking people off. But if we get an early goal, then that would be sick. If we try to get like an early goal, start get going a bit. But I'm gonna go. I think you guys will catch us on the counter. Like we'll go for it, and you guys will catch us on the counter. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool. I think we'll score this time. At least one. Come on, one goal.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't not to jinx anything, but you've not scored against us in the Champions League before, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, definitely the last, the them Torres days. I remember we didn't score against you. I don't know about history before that.
Yeah, from my reckoning. Drift, what are you saying?
I think the game will be a draw. I'm leaning towards a score draw, not a 0-0. So I'm probably thinking either 1-1 or 2-2.
I'll take that.
I think we'll get through, but I think the game will be a lot tougher than people think. And as you said, in the build up, when I was behind the scenes, we definitely got to take it seriously, because they showed they're much better than people were giving them. I mean, to be fair, we never did it, but like I was hearing loads of people saying, "Oh yeah." I mean, it was actually the ops. To be fair, it wasn't actually Liverpool fans too. I mean, some Liverpool fans are going, their cockiness is getting ridiculous, but like it was the ops in it where they were just like, Inter Milan, what an easy game. I'm like, hold on a minute, Serie A champions there. What are you talking about? Like, in my humble opinion, at the moment, Real Madrid would be an easier game than Inter Milan for the way we're playing and the way they're playing. Yeah, because I think Inter Milan have a bit more of that organization and that ruggedness to them, whereas Real Madrid, they'd want to go in a gunfight. And we kind of like that, innit, if you want to go in a gunfight with us. So, like, I just found it a bit disrespectful that people were saying Inter Milan was an easy game. I was just like, I don't really get how it's an easy game. And the first leg proved it. So...
Fair dues. I'd go with 2-0 for this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys had your chances, because at the moment we are, giving teams chances in games at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go over 2-0. I actually reckon we'll get both the goals in the first half. I can see it being quite similar to the Atletico game at home, where we get 2 goals in the first half and then kind of coast the rest of the game.
I'll take that, because then at least I know that we can just stop. It's focus on Serie A now. Inzaghi can sub off the main guys.
No, I'm looking forward to the game. Before we sign off, though, Shams, please tell the people where they can find and support you.
Yeah, just Uncle Sharma. If you type in on YouTube, you should be able to find me. Make videos about Inter. Try to make Serie A, like general videos as well. If you're interested in learning more about Inter and Italian football, yeah, check out my channel and at @rshams with 2 Z's on Twitter. So yeah, looking forward to interacting. I've seen a few people came on my channel from the last video, so appreciate people that came over.
Yeah, big up, man. And make sure you go and follow, man. Support, man.
Yeah, indeed. Well, guys, we are going to be back in like 3-4 minutes on a new stream, obviously our Monday night live show. So we'll be back. Shams, once again, obviously hit you up on short notice, but thanks again for like coming through for us and giving us that insight on Inter Milan. It is much appreciated, bro. And I'm not going to wish you good luck for tomorrow's game, but I'm going to say may the best team win. But obviously we'll stay in contact and all that as well. Guys, make sure you head over and support Shams. Smash the like button if you haven't already. And yeah, until we see you in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Peace.